then Twitch Mobile really does suck. Anyway, hi. Hello, gamers. Sorry. Hello! We're gonna continue the Ace Attorneys. Let me just fucking switch over here. You? You're making bagel bites? Hi, I'm eating spaghetti right now. Where we last left off, we have to defend a scientist who admitted that his experiment did cause the death of a man, but it was not intentional. It was a pure accident. So we have to try to convince everyone that it was an accident. Also, cute witch lady. Your debut tweet hit the quota. Hey! Oh shit! I didn't see the game you announced. I need to check that out later. Like, oh god! I nearly slipped off my chair. Oh, also, it's raining right now. I don't know if you can hear it. Probably not. But it's been raining quite a bit these past few days. Yes, base to Oz time. I'm so excited. Oh, let me take a sippy for really quick. Hold on. Chill lo-fi streams to study too, I guess. Yeah, well, I don't remember because I have the memory of a potato, so you have to tell me again. Okay. I can't believe it's been 6 months since I was last allowed to work in court. And now here I am, back at the Old Bailey. Ah, Mr. Naruhodo. Good morning, Professor Harebrain. I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense. The atmospheric pressure is in here is off the charts. I've never felt anything like it. It's crushing me. I feel it every time I'm here. That gravity. Well, this is Britain's highest court. But are you telling me it's fitted with some kind of device that can actually control air pressure? I think it's probably all in the mind. Ah, yes, well, you won't let me down, will you, Mr. Naruhodo? Yeah. Toilet in Wonderland. Ah, that's right. I was thinking it was that, but I didn't know if like you changed it to something else or not. So yeah, you're gonna be playing Toilet in Wonderland. I don't know anything about that game other than Mario is online, I guess. I think that's about the only thing I know about that game. Also that it was made for a game jam, if I remember right. But yeah. I'm counting on you in today's trial to save my life. To save the secret of my super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine from being made public! Yes, I understand. I know what I have to do. I have to establish that the explosion 2 days ago was nothing more than an unfortunate accident. Well, I'm sure there's nothing to worry about, really. Justice will prevail. My commiserations, Mr. Naruhodo. You appear to have been lumbered with a most tiresome case here. Is it... Yep, it's him. Mr. Sholmes! I didn't expect to see you here. That was very mean, Bruno, leaving me alone at home with Hurley. It took me at least an hour to wake him. Is it? Are you? Sherlock Holmes? Indeed, sir. I am he. Sherlock Holmes! It's cute that he imitated him. Oh, I've heard all about your exploits, even whilst living in Germany. Ah, yes. Brandt's magazine is on sale in Germany, too. This month's installment was sublime. Your deduction in the adventure of the Silver Blaze was wonderful. Ah, yes, a memorable case indeed. It concerned a snake, if I seem to recall. No, that was the speckled band. Well, thank you for coming. Oh wait, that was Ryunosuke. Well, thank you for coming. Woo! I do appreciate your support. I'm sorry to disappoint you, my dear fellow, but I'm afraid I can't stay. I've never been supportive of anyone in my entire life. This is what I wore to Germany too, little cat boy. Oh. I have urgent business at Madame Tispel's. You mean your waxwork job? No, the waxwork abduction, of course. Madame has engaged my services. Ah, so you're trying to get to the bottom of that ransom note, are you? The week's wages depend on it, as does the safe return of the waxwork, naturally. As such, I intend to give it my undivided attention. Oh, well, never mind then. I understand. Of course, with my skills of observation and reasoning, resolving the matter will be as easy as proverbial pie. I shall return forthwith. Or until I solve the case, I shall have no money to afford a pie of any description. Ooh, then you must absolutely give it your full attention, Hurley. Quite, Iris, quite. But life is riddled with irony, you know. Whenever I give something my full attention, I have a quite insatiable desire for a pie. One of the universe's intractable mysteries, you might say. Oh, yes, quite, definitely, absolutely, I totally understand! Is someone a little starstruck? I wish you the very best of luck, Professor Hairbrain. Why, thank you! Before I depart, Mr. Naruhodo, a word in your ear, if you please. What's this about? As you have remarkably little grounding in science, I feel I ought to inform you. As compelling as this super high-voltage instantaneous kinesis hypothesis may be, practical implementation such as was attempted by the professor at the Great Exhibition is quite impossible. But the professor said the demonstration was a success. Yes, it would appear that he fervently believes it was. I've read Professor Bunny Brains! That's cute. I've read Professor Bunnybrain's paper about it too, you know, and I have to say, I'm sure it can't be done. It could barely be done theoretically, let alone practically. So he's completely barking up the wrong tree? But how could an experiment that had no possibility of succeeding in fact succeed? That's contradictory. And it's that contradiction that will be at the heart of the trial, I've no doubt. What's that supposed to mean? Now, I must hurry along. I wish you the best of luck, my dear fellow. See you later, Hurley. Goodbye. So, Hairbrain's experiment is a sham? Like, well, not the sham. He believes it worked, but they're saying it's impossible. That's interesting. That's going to lead to something, I'm sure. Well, it looks like you're on your own today, Runo. But chin up. You can do it. Oh, what about you, Iris? No, I'm afraid I can't help. I have something I need to do. The Ace Attorney! Hi! I see. It's going to be a big surprise for you when you find out what it is. That sounds ominous.
Counsel for the defense and the defendant. Court is about to be in session. Make your way into the courtroom at once.
We're on our way. What's that emo for us? An experiment that the laws of science say can't possibly succeed. and a scientist who is convinced that it did. That's the riddle you have to unlock here, Ryunosuke. That's the key to this case. The surprise tool that will redact us later. What is redacted? Sorry for the slurps.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session.
Oh, I didn't get a good look at the jury. We'll see them soon.
We are sitting today for the public trial of prosecutor Professor Albert Harebrain. I now call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed. The prosecution is ready.
The defense is ready, my lord. The 24th of October is your birthday, and this trial takes place the day before it. Oh! Nice! I'm 6 months out of practice, and what's more... No Susato! Sad. I'm without Susato-san today. Chin up, Ryunosuke, we can do it. We don't need Susato. It'd be nice if she were here, but we can do it on our own. She faded away because she's not here! She's still in Japan at this point. Is it just my imagination, or does the air in here feel even more oppressive than usual?
So, I must say I recollect the victim of this case all too well, Mr. Odie Asman.
Spider-Man no GIF. Oh no, the link got deleted. Well, it's not a link, but the bot thought it was. Sorry about that.
It was only a month ago that the man appeared in court prosecuted by you, Lord Van Zieks. But the jury unanimously found him not guilty.
Because every member of the jury had been bribed, by the sound of it. These powerful London criminals are prepared to go to extreme lengths to keep their freedom. To be fair, if they're found guilty, a lot of times it means they get the death penalty. They get sent to the gallows.
But 2 days ago, on the 21st of October, Mr. Asman met his end. The work of the Reaper, was it? If that is how your lordships would describe divine retribution. But the fact remains that Mr. Asman's death was a direct result of the actions of the accused, Professor Harebrain. Very well then. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you have been selected at random to represent the will of the people.
Let's see.
Are the 6 of you ready to fulfill your societal duty?
Let's see, who's the jury? Whoa! New face! Actual new face!
I'm most gratified to have been selected to carry out this important civic duty, my lord.
Ooh, oh my god, you're pretty. To have a man's fate in the palm of one's hand. Oh gosh, oh golly, it sends shivers down my spine. What the fuck? It's a magician!
Science, experiments, magic, conjuring tricks, courtroom trials, all are nothing more than performances. Any spurious scholar that defiles the retribution of science deserves to hang.
We have to listen to what's said on both sides of the fence and, then settle on one. That's it, isn't it?
It's the cop from the museum!
Who's locked is my day? Who's locked is it all?
Put the gun down, sir. That's the police killer Ottermole lookalike again. And he's as exhausted as ever, it seems.
Now, as I'm sure you are all aware, the incident we are here to judge today tragically took place at the Great Exhibition, shortly after its opening. Though the death toll could have been far worse, with the exception of the victim, no one was killed. Nevertheless, the dream of the science The dream of the science being exhibited rapidly turned into a nightmare for the spectators. A tragic turn of events, and as such, the eyes of all London, no, of the whole world will be on this trial. It is our duty to reach a swift and just conclusion, I feel. So, your opening statement, please, Lord Van Zieks. At the heart of this incident is technology never before demonstrated anywhere in the world. One of science's latest developments, I take it. The government is keen to capitalize on the Great Exhibition to improve Britain's technological advantage.
There's nothing on the scroll. Can you imagine he's just like, it's just completely blank. And like, no, actually, it's not blank. It just has like a drawing of a cat on it.
The technology being demonstrated by the accused is described as super high voltage instantaneous kinesis.
It just says slurs.
Good lord. Your Honor, take a look at this.
This is a picture of a cat. It's designed to disassemble human subjects using extremely high voltage electricity and beam them instantly to another location where they are subsequently reassembled.
Is such a thing even within the realms of possibility? Well, I don't believe it. That's for sure.
Disassembling people with electricity? My goodness, how shocking!
Ha! The whole idea is absurd! The hypothesis would never stand up to scrutiny.
You wanna take a look at this picture of a crudely drawn Naruto? This is stinky!
Sir, I believe you are a fellow of the Royal Society. Are you not? An expert in your field? I am, and my word on the matter can be considered final. Instantaneous kinesis is poppycock!
So this expert and Mr. Sholmes are in agreement. It's impossible.
What is the prosecution's view on the matter? The prosecution would assert that the accused's instantaneous kinesis demonstration was a success.
What?
What? Order! Order! The professor's hypothesis is currently under investigation by the British government. If it is deemed to have merit, the substantial research grant would be made available. The accused made use of the invention built on his new hypothesis to take Mr. Asmund's life, in order to be the sole benefactor of the grant.
But...
This disastrous demonstration was no accident. It was carefully designed from the outset to end the life of the victim.
Dang.
Thank you, Lord Van Zieks. The prosecution's stance is clear. But you will now bring forth witnesses to substantiate your claims.
Gladly, my lord. There goes the cape. Let me take a bite of spaghetti.
Bailiff, show the first witnesses to the stand. Your Honor, the defense is full of shit.
So he's gonna have the detective and the accused testify? Interesting.
Bailiff, whack his pee-pee. Witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court. Yes, sir. Tobias Gregson, Detective Inspector at Scotland Yard's Homicide Division. I was on duty at the demonstration on the day in question and in charge of the following investigation.
Albert Habrain. Scientist!
You were born in England but have been carrying out research in Germany in recent years, correct?
Yes, that's right.
After graduating from university here in Britain, I went to work in Germany and made an amazing discovery. Which is what brought me back. I had to demonstrate my incredible hypothesis at the Great Exhibition. What you demonstrated was incredible, alright. An incredible explosion. But the science was a success! The instantaneous kinesis worked! Everyone saw it! They must have done! Yes, there was that terrible accident, but the demonstration of my hypothesis was a success! Well, that much is undeniable, as shown in this photograph taken by the forensics investigation team.
Claire?
This was taken inside the Crystal Tower, I take it. The centerpiece of the exhibition, no less. That's right, my lord. Seems the victim rammed straight into it.
Claire? What was the cause of death?
I see. Very well, submit the photograph as evidence.
I was under the impression because there was an explosion, the cause of death would be like, he was burned? And there would be more burns on his body, but he seems perfectly intact. I guess that's why they believe the teleportation worked? Because he hasn't suffered any burns from the explosion? How the fuck did this happen? This is gonna be interesting.
As the court heard, the victim of the incident was Mr. Odie Asman. There have been a number of allegations made against the man, but putting them aside for the time being. He was the man who financed the research for the experiment and the demonstration itself. I see. So to summarize the situation, the defendant is accused of taking the life of the man who funded his work. Would that be correct? Exactly.
But couldn't it be that the explosion was caused by some malfunction in the apparatus used for the demonstration? That's right! That must be it! My splendid machine! My poor splendid machine!
You saw it yesterday, didn't you? We can't even examine the records thanks to the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act.
What? The wreckage? The wreckage?
But that being the case, how can the facts be established? How can it possibly be determined whether this was an accident or a deliberate and malicious act? Extremely simply, my lord. I beg your pardon?
Isn't that right, witness? What? Sorry, me?
No, your neighbor. Yes, sir. It was murder, plain and simple. Anyone could state that with complete certainty.
Yeah, I really like Harebrain's poses. What? How can you possibly think that?
Thank you, Inspector. I think we had better proceed to formal testimony. You will explain to the court on what grounds you claim this experiment to have been a front for murder.
Ooh, here we go.
The corpse that went crashing through the Crystal Tower had a broken neck.
I made a minor miscalculation in the angle of the beam projection. That's all. That was my mistake.
But the post-mortem examination revealed another injury, a fatal wound.
There was a lesion? A lesion? What's with all these words? Can't you just say like a stab wound or a gunshot wound or like a protrusion? Like any word that I know how to say. A lesion? Lesion? English is hard, man. English is very hard. Can the language of this game be changed to Spanish? I wonder if that would be possible. Can you imagine? Lesion? Thank you.
There was a lesion, I think, in his chest where he'd clearly been stabbed by something sharp right in the heart.
Why'd you just say stab wound? So it was a stab wound! I'm gonna choke you with your fish and chips.
So the victim was killed before he went anywhere, and this fella's the only one who could have done it. Information I would really like to have heard from someone other than the judge. The coroner says death would have been all but instant from a wound like that. You could say, in fact, that the victim was killed twice by the accused.
Stop being British! Yes! Stop being British!
It's like too hard for my little Puerto Rican brain. No, no, and no! That could have been further from the truth! I have here the experiment plan document that was submitted to the security team.
Oh shit.
The victim stood himself inside something called the bird cage, ready to be beamed instantly.
Ah.
Then the second level of the crystal tower... the second level of the crystal tower, about 25 yards away. Sorry, it's just all these fish and chips I've been eating so much lately. They're really doing a number on the old gut, yeah, babe. The experiment did not go according to plan, however. As the machine was put into operation, there was a large explosion. The blast caused the beam transmitter to point higher than intended. Accordingly, the kinesis resulted in the birdcage materializing in mid-air.
Ah.
The word subsequently fell, crashing through the glass of the crystal tower's large round window. My word! One assumes the victim's neck was broken upon impact with the tower, then.
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean for this to happen. The machine was just too powerful. But honestly, really, I swear, it was just an accident. A terrible accident.
Unfortunately, that excuse can't save you. No, not concerning the sharp murder weapon that pierced the victim's heart.
Murder weapon? What are you saying?
This is the autopsy report submitted by the coroner.
Oh, can we read it, please?
The prosecution would like it entered into the court record. Your request is granted, counsel.
Thank you.
Alright. Sad little bunny man. I was there in person, you know. I saw the whole ludicrous performance. And the only other person on the stage with Mr. Asman was that disgraceful excuse for a scientist.
Then, really, by all accounts, it must have been him.
Hard to think otherwise, really. I only have one gruff British voice, and it's that. I can only do so many British voices. Very well, counsel for the defense. Proceed with the cross-examination, please. Oh, yes, my lord. I need to focus here. It's been a while.
Before you do that, let me grab a bite of food.
It's okay, there's like 3 British people in existence.
Alright, before we do anything, let's review our evidence. We have some evidence here. So we have the newspaper, it's already been examined. Yeah, so nothing new here. The experimental sketch, which shows that Oh yeah, we found a crossbow! I completely forgot! We found a crossbow for some reason! We still don't know what this thing's about.
There's some sort of lever here.
What the? What is this? It looks like a cross between a bow and a gun.
I think it's probably used for the same thing, too. Pretty cool looking crossbow, I gotta say.
A bun? found this too. It looks like layers of thick canvas with a thick rubber lining of sorts. I've never seen anything like it before, but applying Mr. Sean's methods, we might deduce it was part of a raincoat worn by someone who really didn't want to get wet. And the charring must have occurred when the person was struck by lightning! Or maybe not. Ryunosuke sounds so sad when he doesn't have someone to, like, bounce off of his quirky little quips. Alright, let's see. So yeah, he has a stab, and they're saying they had a broken neck. Okay. He has some cool glasses. I mean, I think those are glasses. They're like the little glasses that they don't really hang from your nose. They're just like, I mean, they don't hang from your ears. They're just like on your nose. Oh shit, he was like, oh god. Yeah. A bit gruesome. Alright, let's read that autopsy report. The sales victim, name Odie Asman, he was 47, he's British. That's why he died. He died around the 21st of October at around 2:20 p.m. Cause of death, hemorrhage of a wound to the chest that pierced the heart, inflicted by a sharp implement. Additional observations, a broken vertebra, most likely resulting from impact after a sudden fall from considerable height. That's all we got. Alright, let's get to pressing. Are you suggesting that that's because he fell from a considerable height?
Exactly. Which highlights something else about this whole rum business.
What's that?
The fact that the instantaneous kinesis itself was a success.
Ah!
After the explosion, the cave with the fella inside suddenly appeared out of nowhere mid-air. So although the experiment ended in disaster, the so-called instantaneous kinesis did actually occur.
Remind us, Professor. What was the cause of the fatal disaster? I made a minor miscalculation in the angle of the beam projection, that's all. That was my mistake. So the angle of the projection is critical, is it? And you calculated it yourself, personally? Absolutely. The calculation is far too complicated for anyone but me to carry out.
Only, you got it wrong, didn't you?
Yes! That's right! That's the point! The calculation is so complicated, even I can make a mistake. Do people fall for that brazen confidence? I should try it. Right, it's an angle. I took into account the subject's height and weight and the wind direction, the ambient temperature. I considered every possible variable, so I just don't understand how this could have happened. Obviously then, you had to include the weight of the clothes Mr. Asman was wearing at the time, I suppose. Crackling comets! The answer should have been 3! So much for safety first. 3 must be for safety third. Fucking Mesopotamians figured that shit out 3,000 years ago. 3! The funny number! You turn it sideways and it looks like a pair of boobs! Okay. Another fatal injury, you say? That doesn't make any sense!
I didn't think I'd have to spell this out, but here we go. Just because there were 2 fatal wounds doesn't mean I'm saying the victim had 2 lives to lose, does it?
2 right.
Obviously, at first, we thought the bloke had died due to the spawn snapping in half as well.
But you're saying that's not the case?
You'll get your answer once I'm finished my fish and chips, if you don't keep buttoning every few seconds.
But we all know that's a bottomless bag. Yeah.
The victim plummeted 30 feet into the glass tower. It would be reasonable to assume that as the cause of death. Right. That's what we all thought. But it was a red herring, wasn't it?
There's a lesion in his chest where he'd clearly been stabbed by something sharp right in the heart.
Hold it!
And do you have the thing that stabbed him? The defense knew nothing of this crucial information.
The prosecution received this report from the forensics investigation team only this morning. That was the first we knew of it as well. I can only apologize for the impossibility of informing the defense.
Sarcastic and insincere? Thanks. So, what was the nature of this sharp object?
Among the accused's tools that were in use of the demonstration, one is of particular interest.
Oh, it's that thing! We found that thing!
This. Oh yes, that would appear to be some kind of screwdriver. Wouldn't it come...
Ah! There he is! My trusty little companion, Andrew! Eh? Andrew, of course. Do you know each other already? He's one of my dear friends, like all my tools. I've named them all, you know. We're one big happy family.
And the judge's like, my god, he's insane.
Andrew is my flathead screwdriver, of course. His brother Michael is a crosshead.
Well, it would appear that your beloved Andrew has a red stain on his shank.
That isn't...
It's blood. Beyond all reasonable doubt.
No!
That's not all.
Sorry.
The long, sharp shape of this Andrew fellow is completely consistent with the victim's wound.
What? What? We're in danger.
Order! Order! The court will enter this friend of the defendant as evidence.
Let's examine it, shall we? So one of Professor Harebrain's tools is the murder weapon. Great. Indeed. Hey, give me a second, Grigsy. I need to examine this. This is blood. Mr. Asmund's, no doubt. This is the problem with looking at murder weapons. I've seen this unusually shaped handle before. It's the same screwdriver that was lodged into the grill? Grill on the floor of the kinesis machine. Which could be important information, so I should definitely make note of it.
Hold it!
What grounds do you have for saying that?
Ha! Do you really need to ask? There were only 2 people on that public experimentation stage in front of the whole crowd. The victim, Mr. Odie Asman, and the accused, Professor Harebrain. And we know for certain that before the experiment, the victim was alive. That's right! I saw him with my own eyes! Furthermore, following the explosion and kinesis, nobody went anywhere near the body. In other words, only someone else on stage with the victim.
Oh? Could have possibly done it.
Excuse me.
You got something to say, buddy man? Professor Harebrain, do you have some information that may be relevant here? Professor! Sorry! I was just calculating the optimum coefficient of electrolysis to separate molecules in the human body. And the witness stand is the best place for that. It seemed as though you might have something to say about Inspector Gregson's last remark. Yes, that's it. That's right, of course. He just said that nobody else could have done it, didn't he?
Yeah, that's right. Who else could have stabbed the victim, eh?
I don't know! But there's no way that I could possibly have stabbed Mr. Asman as you say.
Eh?
Explain please, Professor. Of course, this cold-hearted policeman may not be aware, I suppose. But humans are warm-blooded mammals with blood running continuously through their veins.
I had heard.
Then surely you see, if I'd plunged something the size of Andrew into the man's chest, the whole stage would have been a bloodbath, not a blood swimming pool. Ah. But thousands of Londoners were watching me at the time. And yet not one of them claims to have seen a swimming pool of blood.
Well, no. I suppose not.
You see? Not one!
True, I didn't see anything like that.
Well done, Professor. That was a great counter-argument. That should be us doing those counter-arguments, though, Ryunosuke, not the witness. But that's true. There should be a lot more blood on the stage if that were the case. You know, unless the screwdriver was, like, kept in the wound. Because we already know at this point that when you stab someone and you just leave it there, it sort of acts like a plug. So there's not really as much blood gushing out, like if you took it out, for example. Oh, there goes the wine.
Pray forgive the discourtesy if I saber a drop from my hollow chalice to accompany my old friends adducing. Here's to you, Albert.
Oh, you're too kind, Beric, but I'm really not a patch on you. Ah!
No, you're not.
No?
You've neglected to mention one crucial possibility.
I have?
A particular situation in which very little bleeding would result from a stab wound.
Of course!
Inspector, enlighten the court, please.
Yes, sir.
Bro, did you hear about blood? Where are they going with this?
Very well. You will amend your formal testimony now, Inspector Gregson.
The weapon in the victim's stab must have been
left in his body whilst he was beamed through the air. Wrong! Wrong!
Objection!
You say that while the weapon remains in... You say that while the weapon remains in the body, there's very little bleeding. Is that unequivocal?
Look, there was no blood on the experimentation stage, even though that's where the fellow was stabbed. The only explanation for that is that the screwdriver was still in his body, stopping any heavy bleeding. It's common medical knowledge, my learned friend, even on your side of the world.
Yes, but about this screwdriver? The thing is, we actually saw it on the scene ourselves, on the experimentation stage.
What?
It was on the floor by the wreckage of the machine, poking through a metal grill. I went to pick it up, but a detective here stopped me. Isn't that right, Inspector Gregson?
Now that you come to mention it, yes.
Inspector, are we to understand that you permitted the defense counsel to investigate? That you contravened the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act?
No, not at all! I wouldn't do that. I just let him look, nothing more. I was very clear he wasn't to touch anything.
Yes, that's true. This screwdriver was in plain sight, on the stage. But it shouldn't have been, should it?
What are you getting at?
If this tool had still been in the victim's body when the victim was beamed away by the machine, then it shouldn't have still been on the stage.
Ah!
That's right. It should have been beamed across the Crystal Tower along with Mr. Asman. And been found still lodged in the victim's body. So exaggerated.
Order! Order! How do you explain this, Inspector? Well, I don't...
It looks as though everything that the victim had on his person moved with him when he was beamed. If the screwdriver was still in his chest when the instantaneous kinesis occurred, obviously, that should have been beamed to the destination as well.
You...
This is a strange situation. Even though people are saying that this instantaneous kinesis is a scientific impossibility, we're still basing arguments on the assumption that it did actually take place. Alright, time to tighten the screws here. My lord, if the prosecution is unable to explain this inconsistency in its argument, we can only conclude that the testimony given in to support cannot be relied upon. Lord Van Seeks is stumped! Whoa! Huh? Wait. Was that Hairbrain? Oh boy.
Do you have something to say, witness?
Yes! I knew it! It bears out. The equations hold. Mr. Naruhodo, don't worry! About what? Without delving into the details, there is no inconsistency. Eh? What? Even if Andrew had been lodged in Mr. Asman's chest, my trusty tool wouldn't have moved. Andrew remaining on the stage is consistent with my calculations. Oh, is he gonna say that it only transports like people? Like organic cells, I guess? Maybe? Question mark. But then but the clothes. Wouldn't he have been naked? What? Still doing the funky movements. Oh, the wine bottle! No! He's god modding. He activated creative mode. Don't call him brilliant. You know as well as everyone else that he's a fool. A lovable fool, but a fool nonetheless. Just when I found an inconsistency in the prosecution's arguments. Scientists.
Very well. The defendant will testify again.
Ryunosuke hates scientists, confirmed.
Provide us with the scientific explanation as to why the inconsistency asserted by the defense fails to hold.
In the name of Apollo, I will, my lord. Apollo Justice? I know it's not, but... To be clear, I'm still at the stage of gathering data in my research. My hypothesis states that kinesis cannot transport metal, though. Hence, the metal weapon would have stayed put. In other words, the point just raised by Mr. Naruhodo isn't an inconsistency at all. Mr. Asman was my patron at my research. Without him, my work wouldn't have been possible. Now I have a duty to protect the incredible machine that we built together. All the blood in his body doesn't get teleported then because it's got iron. know science. Can you explain this?
So, the thrust of your testimony, Professor, is that based upon his hypothesis, metal objects cannot be moved by this method of instantaneous kinesis. In other words, since the screwdriver is made of metal, even if it remained lodged into the victim's chest, its subsequent discovery on the stage despite the victim being found elsewhere is not an inconsistency. And therefore, Professor Albert Harebrain could still have been the killer.
My great hypothesis holds, you see. We had to make the cage used to contain the subject from wood for that very reason.
I was not addressing you, witness!
Professor Harebrain? Yes? Whose side are you on here? I don't take sides, Mr. Naruhodo. No! My only interest lies in upholding my hypothesis. I'm a scientist, after all. Science cannot explain the British. Is he working for us or against us? It's very hard to tell.
Let's see how you cross-examine this testimony, my Nipponese friend.
Yes, far away, Miss Naruhodo. Does he want to get arrested? For murder? But like, hold on. Wouldn't the glasses be made of metal, though? He's wearing glasses. Are they not made of metal? Like, and they're here. Let's press everything to get more information.
Hold it!
And yet, your retort to my argument wasn't lacking in confidence in any way. No scientist can find the truth without first finding self-belief. Those were the words of a certain scientist I hold in the very highest esteem. But you realize that disproving my argument puts you in a very precarious position, don't you? No scientist should strive to protect himself more than he strives to protect the truth. More words of the same great scientist, you know? Words that are causing me a lot of trouble. Who is this scientist? I'm afraid I couldn't tell you, Mr. Naruhodo. But as soon as I remember the magnificent genius's name, you'll be the first to know. It might be worth keeping the names of your idols to mind.
You're wasting your breath, my learned friend. This scatterbrain even forgets my name at times. So Lord Van Zeeks really did have a friend once, but I didn't notice hell freezing over.
Hold it!
Your hypothesis states it? So this isn't proven then? No, of course not. It's merely a hypothesis, but a good one, based upon thousands of calculations. But it is widely known that metals can't be decomposed by electrolysis. Yes, of course. So I am right. My hypothesis is clearly correct. He's mad. What is it about incriminating himself that makes this man so happy? It's the whole reason that the bird cage is made of wood, you see? Sorry, the bird cage? Yes, that's what I call the C. obtusa cage in which Mr. Asman was placed for the kinesis. Ooh, it's raining really hard outside. I don't know if you can hear it. But it's like the raindrops are pitter-pattering against my window. The jail cell in which the victim... Oh, that was the judge.
The jail cell in which the victim was detained. It does indeed seem to be made of timber of some sort.
I'll thank you not to refer to it as an instrument of incarceration, your lordship. In short, any weapon lodged in the victim when he was beamed away by instantaneous kinesis would have been left behind on the stage if it was made of metal, correct? Yes, that's it! Yes! It all fits perfectly with the mathematical model!
But the ultimate conclusion, then, is that the defendant alone had the opportunity to inflict this fatal injury on the victim, is it not? Indeed, sir!
Someone beam me out of this nightmare! Let me save before I present it. Maybe the picture of Asmin. Because the glasses are made of metal, right? I mean, they have to be, right? Let's see.
Objection!
I was right! Professor Harebrain, you say that according to your hypothesis, nothing made of metal can be beamed by instantaneous kinesis using the machine you made. Is that right? Oh, did he have buttons on his shirt? Yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, I would say they're metal too. The texture of the picture made me think it was like wood, but that could be metal, yeah. That's another thing. You're right. Yes, that's right. Spot on. Exactly correct. In that case, I'd ask you to look at this photograph that was taken on the scene. In particular, I'd like you to pay attention to the victim's face. Glasses. You can clearly see that Mr. Asmin is wearing a pair of spectacles with a metal frame. A metal rim. What? Metal? No. Metal can't... That's not... Metal? No! We've already established that the proposed murder weapon, the screwdriver, was found on the stage. However, if your hypothesis correctly predicted that outcome, it should also have predicted that the metal-rimmed spectacles would be found in the same place. Ah! My hypothesis! My hypothesis! Professor Harebrain, this isn't easy for me to say, but your hypothesis is clearly flawed. Ah! He cares more about his hypothesis than his fucking future.
Order! 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 Counsel, what is the implication of this?
If, on the day in question, the alleged instantaneous kinesis never actually took place, then it's entirely possible that the victim was killed somewhere other than on the stage. And in that case, someone other than the defendant could have been the culprit. But my hypothesis is sound! I proved it that day! The experiment was a success! The experiment was proof of all my work!
If I could say something here, in my capacity as a fellow of the Royal Society. Yes, juror number 4, go ahead. As a man of science, there's one thing I simply cannot abide. And that's a fraud who pretends to be a fellow man of science!
What? Wait, Great Scott, are you suggesting my science is suspect?
It's been disproved, hasn't it? In front of all of us. In other words, the whole demonstration was a complete nonsense from start to finish. Believe me, my fellow jurors, when I tell you that this man is a heel, a bounder, and a fraud. I'll say the wreckage of that machine should be stripped down and thoroughly examined.
No, never! That machine is the essence of my entire hypothesis! It's protected by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act!
What the devil is that blasted act all about, eh? Who made up such a daft rule?
I don't like the way this seems to be going. What's the best way for me to help a professor? I genuinely think the machine should be investigated. Because if we find out that the machine didn't work, then maybe it'll help us prove that the victim was killed some other way. And we could explain the inconsistencies. Because Sholmes tells us it won't work. Iris told us it wouldn't work. This guy's telling us it wouldn't work. So, I think we should let everyone say what they have to say. Maybe I should watch and wait for the time being.
My feeling is that the machine requires a thorough examination.
But what about this special dispensation that's been mentioned? Oh gosh, this is all too much.
I like this lady, she's cute.
If it's determined that the machine itself was the murder weapon, I think you'll find that act will apply. Of course it was a murder weapon! Anyone can see that as plain as day! So we're all in agreement, are we, that the machine should be stripped?
If I don't do something, they'll...
Objection!
Professor Harebrain has yet to perfect his invention. That would seem to be the case, yes. But even so...
Even so, what?
Going to such trouble and expense to create a fake machine to display in public. He would have absolutely no reason to do such a thing.
Objection!
Oh, the music stopped and everything. He had an obvious reason to do exactly that.
For the research grant money. If the government was foolish enough to have deemed the man's ridiculous notion plausible, he and his conspirators would have received a handsome sum indeed.
Conspirators? What would the value of such a grant... What would be the value of such a grant? £10?
You're an order of magnitude out, madam. £500 a year!
Oh! You could live handsome on that much for years!
The Society's noticed an increase in bogus public demonstrations in the field of science recently, and plenty of scientists arguing with each other to get the largest slice of the funding cake. People's greed is plenty motive enough for murder, I assure you.
Ooh. No, I haven't deceived anyone! Least of all the government! My hypothesis is sound! The science is sound! Please, you must believe me!
Objection!
No.
No matter how unbelievable this hypothesis may seem to you, ladies and gentlemen, the fact remains that the victim was transported instantly to the Crystal Tower. Which means that the experiment was a success.
Barrick!
And therefore, the only person who could possibly have committed this murder is the accused.
Barrick. Where is this heading? I have no idea.
My lord, if I may. Yes, Lord Van Zieks. The prosecution would like to summon new witnesses to the stand.
Ooh? New witnesses?
New witnesses? What will be the nature of their involvement?
They were spectators of the demonstration at the exhibition. They were occupying special seats. Eyewitnesses?
Very well. The court grants the prosecution's request. I would very much like to hear from eyewitnesses to the incident.
The prosecution's stance is clear. This experiment was no postiche. Postiche? Postache? The accused killed the financier victim out there on the public stage, before the very eyes of the spectators. Now, my learned friend.
Oh, yes?
It's time for you to make your own stance clear. There's clearly a flaw in the professor's hypothesis. I can definitely see that. But where does that leave me?
We shall take a short recess now, during which time the prosecution will prepare its new witnesses to take the stand.
As you wish, my lord.
Good. In that case, court is adjourned for 20 minutes.
I can eat my food. Oh wow, to be continued? Really? That's fast. Well, I say that's fast, but it's been an hour. Okay. Now let's see. Let's talk to Mr. Bunnyman. Hairbrain be like, tries to get himself killed.
Mr. Naruhodo?
What on earth were you playing at just now? Or rather, what on earth were you playing at all along? My hypothesis! My amazing hypothesis! You've been picking holes in it from the start! Sorry about that. But you promised me! You said you proved that dreaded explosion was an accident, not murder! You said you'd keep my precious invention from falling into anyone else's hands! But all you've done so far is try to undermine me! Yes, I did make you a promise, you're right. I said that I'd believe in you and fight for your freedom to the very end. But I also told you I was no scientist. I don't understand your hypothesis. The fact is, there's an undeniable flaw in your logic, isn't there? But if I run through some equations, yes, you see, it's because my work is incomplete. Perhaps it is. Nevertheless, a man died as a consequence, didn't he? Oh. Oh no! You're right. You're so right. It's all my fault. And I have no right to blame you for my failures. I'm a disaster. Not just as a scientist, but as a human being! Well, that might be a little over the top. And while we're on the subject... What about Barrick? He's being awful! Claiming his old university friend to be a murderer, you mean? He's a disaster! Not just as a prosecutor, but as a human being! Oh, but no, wait, he's the Reaper, isn't he? Perhaps he's not classified as Homo sapiens anymore. What? Glad that's cleared up. Can I double check something with you? Yes? What? The machine demonstration you prepared. They were based entirely on your hypothesis, I presume. There was no trickery involved? I drew the plans for the machine with my very own hands. Every line was painstakingly drawn with the firm belief that science is the only future. So, yes, it's true that my hypothesis hasn't reached maturity yet, but please, Mr. Naruto, you must believe in it. Alright, Professor. I understand.
Counsel, defendant? The prosecution's witnesses are ready to take the stand. Court is about to be in session again. Make your way into the courtroom, please.
Oh, okay. Let's see these witnesses. It all hinges on that demonstration. If the professor's hypothesis is sound as he claims, it leaves him as the only person who could possibly have killed the victim. But on the other hand, Mr. Sholmes was adamant. A practical implementation such as was attempted by the professor at the Great Exhibition is quite impossible. So, really, what should I be trying to prove here? Anyway, witness time. New witness time. Wake up, babe. New witnesses just dropped. Let's see him.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby reconvene the proceedings of this court. Counsels for the defense, the prosecution, are you ready for the new witnesses to testify?
The prosecution is ready, my lord. As is the defense, my lord.
So, Lord Van Zeeks, I believe these next witnesses saw the demonstration on the day in question with their own eyes.
Indeed, they did. And as luck would have it, one of them is a police detective. So the testimony we are about to hear can be considered highly reliable. Oh my god, is one of them Gina? Perfect. A detective of all people. The prosecution's stance remains unchanged. Though it ended in tragedy, the demonstration on the day in question was scientifically sound. And consequently, the sole person with the opportunity to have committed this act of murder is the only other individual to have been present on the stage at the time, the accused.
Thank you, counsel. The prosecution's position is clear. So, bring forth your witnesses now.
Bailiff, show the witnesses in. The witnesses whose proximity to the incident on the day in question will clarify the truth unequivocally. Let's see. Who them witnesses? Gina! Witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court to hear.
My name's
Balthazar Loon. Is it a pun on balloon?
My name is Balthazar Loon. I am the impresario of all the hot air balloons in vicinity of the experimento stage.
German! Little German boy! No, little German boy, don't go into the weed cave! Oh my god, this cave is full of blood smoke! My name is Wilhelm Gostreich Sigismund. Oh my god! German! I have come to see the Great Exhibition all the way from my home in Bohemia. Fortnite und Cola, yippee! Fortnite, Ace Attorney und Cola, them being German, and then just like the balloon smoking, and then just him going, "I am very rich." It's making me go insane. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. Oh, give me a second. Oh my god. Okay. 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 I'm good. También tengo pavera, puñeta. Oh. I keep thinking of blood smoking. Shem's Grace. Oh my god. Oh fuck. Oh, that nearly killed me. What the fuck? Damn it, no. Also, I'm screaming. Someone tried to steal my meatballs. Jeez. Oh god. I'm okay now. I promise. I'm okay. Holy shit. Little German boy nearly killed me dead on stream. Fuck, dude. Oh my god. I was on security duty at the exhibition, and I got to go up in one of them balloons. It was amazing. Gina. Again. Ugh. But she did mention that she'd seen the disaster from up in a balloon, actually. Didn't she? I can't even read right. And she clearly loved every minute of it. There were 3 balloons flying near the public experimentation stage when the incident occurred. Two of these witnesses were in one such balloon at the time and saw the events unfold from the skies above. To make it sound like they were in the clouds, it was only an altitude of circa 60 feet. Very low. Well, you can't say nothing if you fly too high, can you? 60 feet. About 18 meters then. I love that Ryunosuke has to do the math because they don't have feet in they don't do the measurements by feet, they do it in meters in Japan. Thank you for your introductions. Now you will give your formal testimony for the court. Oh my god, I feel lightheaded from laughing so hard. Holy shit. Kindly describe exactly what you witnessed, especially those of you who had a vantage point above the stage. Oh my god. Holy shit. Oh no, not the little German boy. Oh god. Are they in the court record? Please tell me they're in the court record so I can see them. Yes! No! Yes! Okay. Bohemian boy. 11. A young boy who came to London
London to visit the Great Exhibition. His real name is Wilhelm Gostreich Sigismund Ormstein. Balthazar Loon. The impresario of short pleasure voyages and buying balloons. The balloons above the experiment stage all belong to this man. Bohemian Boy 11.
When are we gonna see two spells again? I miss her. It was an incident. Wait. Incidente? Wait. Incidente? Wait, what? No, he's not British then, because he's like saying this is an accent. What is this? What accent is this? Incidente? Italian, maybe? They went to the wheat cave. What happened to Bohemian Boys 1 through 10? Is he Italian? It was an incidente terrible.
Mamma mia.
Or Spain? Oh! Maybe? But no, that's not how you say terrible in Spanish. Terrible. That's not how you write it in Spanish. That's why. Whatever.
There's this huge bang from the stage, and then the next second, another bang in the sky beside us.
Wait, what?
And from amidst the smoke, a cage appeared out of nowhere.
God, he's so ugly. The cage, it fell from. I'm just gonna read him normally until we figure out what his accent is. Because clearly they're gonna bring people from all over the goddamn place. The cage, it fell from the sky like a stone and crashed into the crystal tower. I didn't get a good look inside the cage, but no one went near it after it crashed into the tower.
A most extraordinary collective account, I must say.
Let me eat food really quick. Mmm. Mmm. Two explosions in two separate places. Oh! Is he gonna say that when he got... Wait, what?
When the demonstration began, the balloon carrying the two witnesses was around here. There were other balloons in the air nearby at the time, carrying other passengers as well, to be clear. Then, as power was supplied to the machine for the demonstration, the first explosion occurred. The so-called birdcage that contained the victim disappeared from the stage, and a moment later...
Ah, okay, there we go. The second explosion occurred directly adjacent to the balloon carrying the witnesses.
The birdcage appeared at the site of the explosion, subsequently to plummet down into the crystal tower.
I was very surprised. Suddenly a cage appeared before my eyes with a person inside.
I can't do this, man!
The blast was so hot, but I didn't want to miss a thing, so I kept my eyes wide.
I am very rich. I still have lots of money. This kid is going to make me go insane. I'm going to fucking die. This kid is going to kill me. Why? Precisely, who is this curious infant? please, just address every child as a curious infant. Oh my god. Holy shit. What the fuck is this? What are these people? Oh fuck. I'm told he's a young noble of Bohemian royalty. Apparently, he disguised himself in order to steal unnoticed into the Great Exhibition.
Yeah, I am here in London on a sightseeing trip with my elementary school.
We will have the benefit of a child's point of view in the testimony.
Do we really need that? Oh, he took off the mask.
When I remove my mask, this is what I look like.
God, he looks so smug.
Ah, yes, I see. A delightful face for an infant.
Yeah, everybody says so.
Great disguise, then. I should give him a baby voice. The point is, the testimony of these witnesses further substantiates the facts for the court. Namely, that despite ending in an explosion, instantaneous kinesis was successfully demonstrated. And furthermore, that until the arrival of the police, no one approached the crystal tower where the victim fell. Therefore, only the accused who was with Mr. Asman on the stage could possibly have committed the murder. Yes, thank you, counsel. The prosecution's views on the matter are quite clear. So, the defense's cross-examination now, please.
Yeah, so anyway, has someone ever heard of Among Us? Do you have games on your phone? do you play Fortnite?
Oh my god. It was an incidente terrible.
I'm only grateful that my balloons were not damaged.
There's this huge bang from the stage. Oh wait, this is a cross-examination.
Hold it!
There were 3 balloons flying above the experimentation stage at the time, I understand.
See.
So yeah, I think he is Italian. Yeah. I believe. Yeah, I think he's Italian. Okay, yeah. Right? That is Italian, right? I'm not stupid. Okay. Sì, all 3 of them. My bellissimi bambini. Oh yeah, this is a video, another YouTube video of a little German boy. They're very popular, senor. Some people will pay £10 for one ride. £10? That's more than my annual stipend.
£20 a month. That is my pocket money. I'm rich. I'm a rich to fight boy.
Royals have all the luck. Little German boy? Crazy. Must watch. I don't know what it is about this little German boy that's making me go insane. Oh my god. Just everything about him is hilarious to me. Let's rich little German boy. Lots of money. Rich. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay.
I got up there for free, I did. Played the old I'll work for Her Majesty's police card, you know?
Detectives have all the luck. If they're so popular, why would you only be operating such a small number of balloons, though? Because if I have too many in the sky, they could crash into each other.
The operators for the balloons were decided by lots, with each operator manning a particular area.
See, and the zone about public is experimentation. Public experimentation stage is the most profitable. I can't.
The other impresarios, they hate me. Thank you, witness. I think the court has a clear picture of the arrangements for balloon rides at the exhibition.
I'm making myself look like a fool because of all these accents.
Perhaps we could hear more about what you actually witnessed at the incident.
Right, I can fill you in there, my lord. There's this huge bang from the stage, and then the next second there's another bang in the sky beside us.
Hold it!
So you actually saw the accident before happen from up in the air? I can't read. My head is fuzzy from the little German boy. Yep. Isn't it amazing what a detective gets to do, eh? I'm telling you, Otto, being a lawyer is a mug's game. You should join the force and we can go flying together. You know me so well. Yes, well, anyway. Could you tell us exactly what you saw? Do you think? Everything! We saw everything! Cause we were up above it all. That Doja Code climbing into the cage, and that Doja Professor pulling all them levers. And that's when it happened. That's when there was a massive bang and the cage disappeared just like that.
You are describing the moment the subject's body was decomposed by the electricity, I believe.
I didn't know what to make of it. But then there was another bang right in my ear. I looked around and there was a huge great fireball right next to us in the sky. Well, oh god.
Excuse me.
Little German boy? Master Gotts, does your memory of the day differ? To give him a baby voice.
My teacher at elementary school said that when you meet someone for the first time, you should always use their full name.
Yes, what was it again?
Wilhelm Großteil Kiki von Amstein.
Just the four names then? The point is, do you have something to say? Something to add in response to Detective Gina Lestrade's last remark, perhaps? What? Get right, Otto. It's Inspector Lestrade. Why does everyone have a problem with how I address them at the moment?
That is not what I saw.
Oh? Daily run was the lost and you still won? Hell yeah. Nice.
Yeah, there was a second explosion and it was right beside our balloon. That is true. But I'm sure.
Which is what I said, innit? One minute there was nothing there, and next a massive explosion.
My teacher at elementary school said that when someone else is speaking, if you are rude enough to interrupt, you will have the awful life imaginable!
Are all Bohemians brought up to be so full of joy? Come on. Say it. Come on. Damn it! He doesn't say it! Fuck!
Just before the second explosion happened next to our balloon, I clearly witnessed a green balloon flying in the sky.
Eh? A green balloon? Eh? You what? I never saw nothing like that.
There I did! I saw it! And you can't say I didn't! I will complain to the council and will cry and scream!
I will cry and scream! Where? Baby rage! Boo! Wait! No, little German boy, don't cry!
My the blatant royalty card, are you? Typical.
Says the orphan who likes to remind people she works for Her Majesty's police. Oh my god. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck me, man. Almost done with my food, hold on. In that case, young man, I must ask you to amend your formal testimony.
In the interest of cordial national relations between Great Britain and Bohemia,
It was not in the sky. It was not in the sky that exploded. It was a green balloon that was next to ours at the time.
Actually, a green balloon. Could it be this then? It might be this. But what does that prove?
Objection!
Okay. Maybe not. Maybe I still have to press things.
Hold it!
A green balloon, you say? Are you sure about that?
Of course I am. Of course I am sure. I am proud Bohemian prince. All these questions are making me boring.
I think you mean bored?
Ah, English is very annoying. The language of my countrymen is far superior.
Ragazzo, it is very wrong to lie.
Lie?
Flying balloons never exploded. For the same reason that planets never explode. It is logical. Please tell me that doesn't mean logical.
If you insult me, you insult all of Bohemia.
Madai.
I will have the army come and shoot all of your stupid balloons out of the sky. All of them.
Here you are, Your Highness. If only all international incidents were so easily resolved. Now that peaceful relations have been restored here in the courtroom, perhaps we could return to the testimony. Did you also see the moment that the cage materialized, Mr. Loon? No, I did not see the explosion myself, however. The cage had fell from the sky like a stone and crashed into the crystal tower.
Hold it!
Did you see that actually happen? No. In reality, I did not. I saw after it hit the tower. There was a grande confusion around the stage. I ran to see what had happened. I was terrorized by the idea that one of my balloons had crashed. I suppose they are his livelihood. But when I looked up at the sky, all my precious balloons were still there. I saw it though. I saw it slam into the tower after all. I am a detective now. Then tell us what you saw, Inspector Lestrade.
That's what I like to hear.
She's so cute. I love her. I didn't get a good look inside the cage, but no one went near it after it crashed into the tower.
Hold it!
Was it you who gave the order to keep people away? You said Otto? How could it have been me? I was up in the balloon, wasn't I? Right. It's not because I wasn't available. It was the boss who had to leg it over there. He was getting shoved and kicked all over them panicking spectators as he tried to sit off the scene. It was a real sight to behold, I can tell ya. Amazing.
Poor Inspector Gregson.
So, anyway, I couldn't see the cage well, because of all the smoke. And I didn't really want to see, to be honest. I was scared out of me wits.
Keep it together, Inspector. The prosecution really is asserting that the demonstration was genuine. But what if it was actually some kind of switch-around trick instead? That would mean that the victim was never actually on the stage in the first place. The two explosions would have thrown everyone watching into a panic for sure. I think I need to find out more about what exactly people saw at the time. And to tell you, I'm grateful that my balloons were not damaged.
Objection!
Aha!
Mr. Loon, in your testimony, you said that all three of the balloons you had operating at the time were undamaged?
Sí, that is correct. If they had been caught in the explosiones, it would have been terrible.
I wonder if you might know what this is?
I think it may be... See, part of a balloon. A burnt piece of the fabric of the envelope.
Sorry, the envelope?
Bottle. That is a large round part of the balloon which becomes filled with hot air. It is made from very thick fabric lined with rubber. You do not want it to rip when you are in the sky.
Just as I thought. This piece of cloth was found near the experimentation stage. In other words, as Mr. Gotts testified, a green balloon did indeed explode that day.
Eh?
If all the balloons in the sky above the experimentation stage belong to you, Mr. Loon, then your statement that they were undamaged clearly contradicts the evidence.
No!
Oh my god. If a balloon exploded that day, why didn't the man say so? Maybe everyone on board was killed. Don't know, having just spent 10 whole pounds for the experience? How awful!
Seems to me like these things crash 50%. Blah, 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 blah.
But what does that have to do with anything? The instantaneous kinesis did occur, but after the explosion on the stage. The point of materialization shifted to a location occupied by a balloon, causing the balloon to explode. Yes, eminently plausible. An unfortunate traffic accident, as it were, but it changes nothing about the pertinent facts.
This I cannot accept!
Why not, Mr. Loon?
You are suggesting that I am a liar! That person's died in a balloon incident!
There's no need to get fired up,
Ha!
Mr. Loon. The victim was the sole fatality that day.
That's right, and I can prove it! That saloon is not a liar! There is no such balloon in the sky! It is not possible!
You're saying it's impossible? Why? The court has more important matters to discuss than the number of balloons that were operating that day.
Aye!
Objection!
But we can't ignore the fact that nobody appears to have known anything about this other balloon until now. My lord. The defense calls for further testimony from Mr. Loon. I concur. There is clearly more to the truth here than meets the eye. It's imperative that we clear up the issue of this phantom balloon, I feel. Witness, you will give supplementary testimony about the balloons you were operating at the exhibition.
Ah. Grazie, my lord. Oh yeah, he's definitely Italian then. As I said, Balthasar Loon is no liar. Every balloon I had in the sky landed safely. All three of my balloons were carrying passengers. If they fell to the ground in an explosion, what a catastrophe! But you can't get away from the fact that a burnt up bit of cloth was found at the scene, can you? The couple said they all reckon it was probably some debris thrown in from the explosion on the stage. You stupid little grasso is mistaken! My balloons have the red and blue zigzag stripes anyway.
So your assertion is that the balloon this child saw was not one belonging to you?
Sì, esattamente. If he even saw a balloon in the first place. I do not like the sound of it. It is very bad for business. I have a good mind to sue the land of Bohemia.
If you attack us, we will fight back. It will be war. All out war.
Vor. What happened to All Out War? All Out Vor. Mr. Loon certainly doesn't appear to be lying. But that doesn't change the fact that the testimony and evidence are contradictory here. If the defense is unable to find fault with the witness's statement, the court must consider them the truth. Give him a break, he just came out of the little blunt smoking cave. All out vor. Think long and hard on that, my learned friend. Think long and hard. The situation has clearly changed now. I have to get to the bottom of what happened here, no matter what it takes. I get the feeling this is going to be a very long case.
Counsel, you may now cross-examine the witnesses.
The other balloons were carrying passengers. If they fell to the ground, and this, what a catastrophe. Do you remember all your passengers? It would be quite a catastrophe if they fell to the ground for any reason, I think. On that note, Mr. Loon, tell me, what is it that keeps these balloons in the sky? I'm just a simple little Japanese man. I don't know how balloons work. And honestly, neither do I. Are you an idiota? Sorry? That is like asking, why does a candle burn bright? It burns bright because it burns bright. And the balloon flies because it flies. What else? That must be Italian for I don't know. Well, there's confirmation that he's Italian. There are two types of flying balloons. Hot air balloons and gas balloons. Hot air balloons work on the principle of hot air being less dense than cold air. Whereas gas balloons derive their lift by using a gas that is lighter than air. See, and my balloons are filled with the magic gas, I believe. Hydrogen. Lighter than air, but highly explosive. Good lord! I do not permit smoking of the cigarettes in any of my balloons. The magic gas does not like a fire. Even a small spark of static electricity could cause the entire balloon to explode. What is the matter with you, senor? All that comes out of your mouth is explosion, explosion! I tell you, my balloons are perfectly safe. They have to be, or I cannot eat. None of my balloons exploded that day. I am completely sure. But if you still say that is what happened, you must show me the proof! Alright. Mr. Loon had 3 balloons in the air that day. If none of them were damaged, then what was the one that exploded? I guess not. Yeah, I guess they're not hot air balloons. He's claiming that they're filled. They're claiming that they're filled with hydrogen, so they're gas balloons instead. Interesting. Extremely explosive, and considering there were several of those balloons flying near a machine that was basically an electric machine, you know, sparking all over the place, that is very dangerous.
Hold it!
I was surprised to find the piece of fabric still at the scene, actually. Didn't you search the area surrounding the stage for clues? Nah, I'm not into picking stuff up from off the ground, me. Always works out but way better, diving into people's pockets instead. So much for the new career path. Mind you, the gas. Thank you for the gas. We needed that. We need that for our balloons. Mind you, the boss was on his hands and knees picking up all kinds of rubbish from the floor. Thing is though, the cage went crashing into the crystal tower, didn't it? That's where most of the investigating was going on. Even so, I would have thought someone from Scotland Yard would have gathered it up as evidence. Cool. Listen to you. You stumble across a bit of balloon and suddenly you're the best investigator in the world. Pardon? Now you ain't got a badge, have you? Like this one. I could arrest you with this if I wanted to. I wouldn't put it past her. Come to think of it, there was talk of some scorching on the ground in the meeting we had about the investigation. Oh? Couples of the yard reckoned it was probably some debris thrown in an explosion on the stage.
Hold it!
There was considerable damage on the stage and the surrounding area, wasn't there? Yeah. Some of the coves were watching the experiment were caught in the blast and injured. Good job the old contraption didn't keel over, eh? I hadn't even considered that. It seems there was great panic after the incident occurred. Nevertheless, the police shouldn't have missed a torn piece of envelope from the balloon. Inspector Gregson can expect repercussions.
Fuck me swapping all his fish and chips, eh?
The man's sole pleasure.
None of this matters. That scrap of balloon envelope means nothing, niente. The stupid autograph was mistaken. My balloons have all the red and blue zigzag stripes anyway.
Hold it!
So no green ones? You mean the color is wrong?
Si, senor. I do not have any green balloons in my warehouse.
And yet, a piece of green cloth was found at the scene, and it is unmistakably from a balloon.
Well, I do not know how that can be.
For the sake of argument, let's say that a green balloon did explode above the stage. Couldn't therefore conclude that it happened on the day in question. Why not? There have been recreational balloon flights over Hyde Park operating from before the Great Exhibition. One could have exploded on some earlier date. Unfortunate, as I'm sure you would agree. Uh-huh. Were there any news of such an explosion? Like, did anyone see this explosion? Van Zeeks? Is there evidence of such an explosion? I believe it may have been from an earlier balloon accident that predates the exhibition.
Si, esattamente. As the senor says, it is not from one of my balloons. Clearly, this little ragazzo from Bohemia is mistaken about what he saw.
So angry. Look at him. Look at this little dance.
Excuse me.
You got something to say, little German boy? Is something wrong, Master Gotts?
It's Master Wilhelm Großdreck Sigismund Arnstein!
It was on the tip of my tongue.
Ah! Something is very wrong! I know what I saw! There was a green balloon there, I swear it! I swear all over Bohemia!
You can speak as much bad language as you like, but it changes nothing. If you do not have evidence, ragazzo, then I must tell your parents to punish you, eh? Perhaps we'll let the judge decide when it comes to punishments.
Evidence? What is this evidence?
To give a simple explanation, young man. A photograph, for instance, some tangible proof of what you claim.
But why didn't you say so sooner? I have the photograph here.
Eh? Really? What? He actually has a picture? Really?
I had not been up in a balloon for a little while, so I was very excited.
Oh my god, he has a fucking camera.
I took lots and lots of photographs of the Crystal Tower, of the Bohemian exhibit, of the streets of London, of the audio cellar, the balloon.
And the instantaneous kinesis experiment? Did you take a picture of that?
Ah, one picture.
Really? You did take one?
But all I wanted was a ride in a balloon. I was not interested in boring experiments.
Never mind that! Can you show us the photograph?
Of course. And then you will see. You will see that I am not lying. That I didn't see a big balloon.
I can't talk. Oh my god. Well, you can't really tell it's green, but there was a balloon.
Well, I see you are too short to speak.
Yes, I think shocked is indeed the word, young man.
But perhaps you cannot see it with the green balloon from this picture, from this photograph. But that is not a fault! That is the fault of the stupid person who makes the camera! Wait!
German crying! That is a very bohemian sounding cry. Oh my god!
Very well, the court will accept this photograph as evidence.
God, the accents, I'm gonna cry.
It's not my fault. It's the fault of the person who made the camera.
Well, never mind. I'm sure you have plenty of wonderful sepia memories to take home with you. In any case, when exactly did you take the photograph?
Well, it was on the day of the big explosion.
You don't say.
When I pressed the shutter release, there was this very loud bang, and the hot wind rushed over my face.
That means this photograph was taken a split second before the explosion occurred. Well, if you ask me, this black and white photograph changes nothing. I could not give the flying fig! I could not give the flying fig! I did not give a flying fuck! Lovely language you've picked up. All these accents and languages. As I thought, Mr. Loon's testimony just doesn't quite add up. The young bohemian boy claims to have seen another fourth balloon. Mr. Loon vehemently denies the possibility. And it's hard to imagine the man in charge could be mistaken about the number of that were in the balloon. I mean the air. I genuinely am. This boy is the funniest fucking thing to ever happen to me in this game. Still, this inconsistency must tell us something, I'm sure. Let me see. Let me examine that picture. What if this boy said this?
Your mom sucked me good and hard for my jorts!
Wait, there's no one in the balloon. That's another thing. The balloon is completely empty. Why is it? Why is there just an empty balloon in the air? What? There's just an empty balloon. Why is there just an empty balloon? You see Odiasmin inside. There's Hairbrain. Oh yeah, there's also like this. Whatever this is, that's another thing. Is no one gonna point it out? Okay. All three of my balloons were carrying passengers. If they fell to the ground in an explosion, what a catastrophe. They were carrying passengers, but this one is completely empty. I mean, that's just more evidence that this probably wasn't his balloon. But there was a balloon there.
Objection!
Unfortunately, the photograph Mr. Gotts took can't tell us the color of the balloon, but it can tell us something else. Something crucially important.
What?
It shows that the pictured balloon wasn't carrying any passengers.
Ah, my goodness, you're right! But surely all the balloons would have been carrying passengers.
Oops, wrong button, sorry.
There would be no sense in it otherwise. See! They are for pleasure, for seeing the view. My balloons only fly with passengers.
Which tells us that the pictured balloon isn't one of them. So, when the incident occurred that day, there was a fourth balloon in the skies above the experimentation stage. The mysterious green balloon.
I know nothing. Niente. I can only tell you one thing. If this balloon was not carrying passengers, then it was not one of mine.
Objection!
There are illegal tradesmen everywhere you care to look. Clearly, one such entrepreneur decided to capitalize on the opportunity presented by the Great Exhibition, and managed to operate balloon flights on Mr. Loon's patch without him realizing. See, the competition, trying to steal my profits. I did not notice because of the experimento that went wrong on the stage.
This fourth balloon exploded at the very same moment Mr. Asman was beamed from the stage below. What? So them scraps that fell on the ground after and left them scorch marks. They didn't come from the stage at all. It was all bits of the balloon raining down. But because no one was in it, it didn't get no attention. A mysterious fourth balloon carrying no passengers, silently floating over the experimentation stage.
Objection!
This photograph shows us nothing more. A stray balloon carrying no one and operated by some rogue trader. Clearly has nothing to do with this case. Its relevance does elude me, I must say. The court has seen sufficient evidence. The prosecution calls for this trial to be concluded.
We're not paying attention. We're not paying attention. Really? Have we really got to the truth yet? No. They can't let this opportunity slip away. The jurors' minds are made up. And not in our favor. Van Zeeks, I have a suggestion. What else can this photograph tell us if there's nothing more we can learn from it? There's more!
Objection!
I think you really need to get some head. Get some of that anger out of you. It'll do you good. Do you want to give him head? Because I sure fucking don't. And I can't imagine anyone else would. I mean, that's a lie. I can think of several people who would want to. I just don't see it. I don't understand the appeal. Please don't give your decisions yet. I know, I'm joking. The photograph from Master Gotts may well be hiding one more vital clue. What was it? A vital clue?
Objection!
Hog.
We're well past the point of mere possibilities. It's time for definitives now, so tell the court. What exactly does this alleged clue in the photograph prove?
Cause of the explosion. We can reasonably assume that the picture balloon was destroyed in the searing heat of the explosion.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was not my fault.
Evidently. Because the birdcage from the kinesis machine materialized in the sky where it had been flying. And the balloon being filled with flammable hydrogen instantly and exploded ignited.
Objection!
But you're wrong. No, that's not what happened.
What? It would appear that this photograph requires closer examination. Counsels for the defense, you will highlight the location of the alleged clue in the photograph for the court.
Of course, my lord. If you look closely, it's plain enough to see. And what's shown is linked to another piece of evidence we have. In a way, that leads to an unbelievable conclusion. The fucking beam of light here. Duh.
Take that!
The timing of this photograph can only be described as miraculous. If you look, you'll notice there's a bright white line that appears to point directly at the balloon. Most likely a ray of light caught incidentally above the film.
It was Rob the Robot, Your Honor!
Oh my god, Rob the Robot, I'm my favorite Ace Attorney character.
I'm afraid I can see nothing of the sort.
If you look with a magnifying glass, my lord, it becomes clear what the nature of this bright light really is.
Goodness, what is that? Undeniably some flash of light, yes.
Oh golly, do you think it might be lightning?
But it couldn't have been a finer day. I believe you may be looking at fire. A bolt of fire heading straight for the balloon, like an arrow. Indeed, even to my aging eyes, it would appear to be a flame of some sort. My word, are you suggesting this flame struck the hydrogen gas that filled the balloon?
Objection!
That's absurd! The balloon would have been 60 feet above the ground at the time. No flame could possibly have reached such a height.
Objection!
Actually, it's my opinion that a particular piece of evidence found at the scene reveals how that is exactly what did happen.
What evidence?
Haha. Benzix is losing it.
If such evidence exists, counsel, then for goodness sakes present it, man!
Which evidence explains this mysterious streak of flame that appeared at the crossbow.
Take that!
This was found hidden at the foot of a small ornamental tree near the scene.
Good lord, is that a crossbow?
An arrow dipped in oil and set alight could have been shot from this weapon. You're gonna mod this game and only change every instance of the word opinion to opiniot. Sending a flaming arrow straight into the hydrogen-filled balloon.
Are you suggesting that crossbow was used to deliberately... Blimey, you're right! That streak of light in the photo looks just like an arrow, don't it?
Then, the explosion on the balloon, it was... very likely the result of a flaming arrow from this crossbow, igniting the hydrogen gas inside it.
No!
I actually, he has a single green balloon. Oh my god. Mr. Loon does have like a singular green balloon in his little batch of balloons. That's interesting.
Order! Order! Council, this is an extraordinary supposition.
If the aim was to cause the balloon to explode, the shooter could have just used a gun, of course. However, there's an obvious reason why that would have been out of the question.
The noise of the discharging, of course.
That's right. By using a crossbow, the projectile could be fired at the balloon silently. Well, yeah, if someone had shot a gun off in the exhibition grounds, it would cause a real panic. But with the big explosion, there was a very big panic anyway, no? I don't like this. I should be pleased to have found a plausible new explanation for all this, but something feels wrong.
Objection!
Do you understand the implications of what you're saying, my Nipponiese friend?
If a flaming arrow did indeed hit the balloon, then obviously it would have exploded. And if the birdcage appeared from the cloud of smoke that ensued... Whoa, wait a minute! What are you really saying here? I don't get it. Was the birdcage beamed up into the sky after all? Or what?
Oh, goodness me!
I'm lost. Ah, now I understand. That's what that sinking feeling is about. I think there's a good chance that the birdcage was actually concealed inside the balloon all along.
Oh! Did I hear that correctly, Council?
There's no going back now. The horse is bolted. Oh! Okay, never mind. I see where this is going now. Let's assume, as a side, that the birdcage was hidden inside the green balloon from the start. On stage, when the experiment was started, the birdcage was in the instantaneous kinesis machine disappeared in a cloud of smoke. At that moment, the flaming arrow was fired from the ground, causing the green balloon to explode and drawing the attention of the spectators from the sky above their heads. From amid the smoke, the hidden birdcage then appeared to fall down and crash into the crystal tower. I think you'll agree that it's entirely plausible that what I just described is the real truth behind the miraculous experiment carried out that day.
Good grief!
Objection!
This is ludicrous! What you've described is no science experiment. It's child's play! A contemptible display of stage magic!
Both Mr. Sholmes and Iris said that the experiment was a scientific impossibility. In which case, this is the only way to explain what happened that day.
And in any case, the victim's body was found inside the birdcage in the crystal tower. If the instantaneous kinesis didn't take place, how do you explain that?
If I may put in a word, as a man of magic myself, such apparent discrepancies can easily be explained by some simple deception. Juror number 3! All that would be needed is a doppelganger, someone who looked very similar to the victim, Mr. Asman. And having this other man appear on the stage,
On the front show, as a body double.
Yes, of course! So in fact, Mr. Asman must have been inside the birdcage that was concealed inside the balloon right from the start!
Objection!
That balloon would have been filled with hydrogen. Anything hidden inside it would have been scattered to the four winds when it exploded. No one would have embarked on such a risky venture. Not necessarily. The explosive force of the balloon gas would very much depend upon the mixture ratio. Juror number 4. Flying balloons are rarely filled with pure hydrogen, but a mixture of other gases such as helium as well. Helium on its own doesn't explode, but by controlling the gas mixture ratio, the explosive force can be altered. The mixture ratio?
I like how all the jurors are just ganging up on Van Zeeks, but this is also giving me a bad feeling. This is all very beneficial. And I feel like it shouldn't be.
Obviously, the victim's body would have suffered some burns that would be unavoidable. Not to such an extent as to render his old obscene charade impossible.
So everything that's happened can be explained, logically and scientifically. The explosion that engulfed the stage at the start of the experiment was no accident. It was all part of an elaborate deception to make it appear that instantaneous kinesis had occurred.
Well, goodness me.
And if we accept that this is what happened, it means that the victim, Mr. Asman, was never present on the public experimentation stage to begin with. Okay, but this is also really bad because then they can just make a case that this was no accident, that this was planned murder. Right? I feel like this is all gonna be very bad for us in the end. In short, he couldn't have been killed by the defendant, who was on stage in full view the entire time. This will be very hard for the prosecution to counter. Lord Van Zeeks can't credibly maintain that Professor Harebrain is a suspect now. Never mind, someone's gonna save him. Let me guess, is it Harebrain? I knew it. Mr. Norhudo, I appreciate your efforts. Thank you. Professor? But you can stop now. Just keep your mouth shut, please. Sorry? What's all this about, Mr. Harebrain? I, Albert Harebrain, hereby confess that it was me who stabbed Mr. Odie Asman! Huh? What? Excuse me? Yes, it was me! It's with my faithful friend and partner, Andrew the Screwdriver. What? What are you doing? What?
Order! 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 Defendant, explain the sudden confession.
The defendant will do no such thing! Professor Harebrain, what are you talking about? It's what I've said all along! I must protect my hypothesis and my precious machine! You're willing to go to jail for your fucking machine? You stand there and claim it's all a trick, all an elaborate prank, but where's your proof? No, you'd have to examine the machine if you wanted to prove it, but then it would all be over. My beautiful hypothesis would be laid bare. I mean the indignity of it. Clearly, and ugh. It's clear that you drew the plan for the experiment, but you didn't actually build it. It's quite conceivable that you were duped, Professor. If you'll just let me— Bark!
Yes.
I'll cooperate. I'll do whatever you say. I swear it. So please. Instill the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act is at hand to protect my creation.
No. Pray forgive the discourtesy of filling my hollow chalice at this critical juncture. Here's to my learned Nipponese friend.
What?
And his upcoming attempt to clarify the defense's position in the light of the accused's confession. Do you intend to formally assert that the experiment was nothing more than a conjuring trick? Because the moment you do, the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act that protects the professor's invention will cease to apply. The prosecution will then demand a rigorous examination of the machinery involved in order to establish the truth. This dude is obviously publishes on ours instead.
I don't know what that means!
However, if you acknowledge that the machine is genuine and instrumental in the victim's murder, any chance of investigating would be crushed, and the confidentiality of the professor's hypothesis preserved.
He obviously doesn't get his work peer-reviewed. Ah. So it's either the truth or the client. That's the choice here. And, lol, I want the truth.
What Professor Harebrain, my client, actually asked of me was to prove that the explosion on stage was an accident and protect the secrecy of his hypothesis. But there's no way to do that without implying the professor's guilt.
Your Honor, I have to go to the bathroom. Runs.
Do I protect my client's life by asserting his innocence, or do I uphold my client's request to but see him condemned? Either way, I can't avoid betraying his trust.
You've been silent long enough. Isn't talking your trade, my learned friend? Or has all knowledge of English escaped your confused Nipponese mind? Kill! Oh my god, he's doing the pose! He's doing the phoenix pose! He's doing the phoenix pose! Hold on. No. Hold on. Oh my god, wait. Hold on, give me a second. I love how this is called Phoenix Despairing. Hold on. There's two of them. Yeah. Like great-great-great-grandfather and great-great-great-grandson. What if it was just kidding, Your Honor? It was just a prank, bro. It was just a prank, my lord. He was doing the same pose. Alright, get out of here, Phoenix. You've despaired long enough. Mr. Naruhodo! There's no escape here. I have to make a choice. But it's an impossible one. I have to give up on something, but what? The defense asserts that the defendant's instantaneous kinesis machine was in fact... I I don't know what the proper... I don't know what the right choice is here. I mean, the obvious one should be Conjuring Trick, because it will help Hairbrain. But then he'll be very upset because of his hypothesis. But I don't think his hypothesis is worth his life. Save? Okay. Yeah, good idea, actually. Hypothesis. I just don't know. I'm just gonna let it... I'm gonna go with my gut. Ah! No! I can't say it! My client placed his faith on me. I can't just let him down. What must I give up on is not the question you have to ask yourself here. It's what can I protect? Susato! Real fucking Mia Fey moment right now. Susato! She's here! Baby girl! Hi! Oh my god, hi, bestie! Hello again, Mr. Naruhodo. It's been far too long. Susato-san! Hi. Ah! Thanks, Susato. My first Susato takedown in 6 months. There will be time to talk later, Mr. Naruhodo. For now, we must concentrate on the task at hand. Which is working out not what I have to give up on, but what I can protect. Professor Hairbrain. Oh, yes? Yesterday you told me that science is the pursuit of truth. Well, my job is to pursue the truth too. Yes, of course. And personally, I believe that you didn't stab Mr. Asman. I think you've come to realize something yourself too, haven't you? That your experiment and the machine you built with the victim are questionable. The truth behind that is that we must both pursue now. So, you finally opened your eyes. What? And as for you, Albert, you can't ignore this any longer. Having heard my learned friend's assertion, don't you have something to say? Beric! Lord Van Zeeks. Gosh, I've never heard him speak that way before. In truth, there is one thing, something I've remembered that's of relevance. What? On the day it happened, just before I began the experiment, I saw a man near the stage. A man holding that crossbow.
Oh! I beg your pardon?
Oh, finally, we're getting something! We're getting somewhere! Professor! Did the man have any distinguishing features? What did he look like? Tall. Taller than me. And thin. Thinner than me. With straight hair, straighter and whiter than mine. Let me see. One less lens than me, too. A monocle. A rather stylish black monocle. But one thing in particular will help to positively identify the man. You see, I know him very well. After all, he's the engineer who built my invention? What? He built the machine? That's right. And Mr. Asman introduced him to me a year ago. He's a man by the name of Enoch Drebber. Enoch Drebber. Enoch Drebber?
Does this name mean something? Members of the jury seem flustered. Not a name any scientist wishes to hear. The man's an abomination.
Not a name any conjurer wishes to hear either. Who on earth is he? Yeah, who is this guy?
I'm afraid this is the first tale of his nature that I've heard in scientific circles in connection with that name. There's talk of other flamboyant experiments that turn out to be nothing but staged trickery in the end. Obviously, the rascal is after the government's research grant money.
When magicians are in need of money, I have heard of them resorting to these underhand tactics. Some acquaintances of mine with experience of such things have mentioned Enoch Drebber's name before.
The man is both an engineer and a magician. Yes, we're dealing with an unparalleled confidence trickster here.
Ooh.
That's Enoch Drebber for you!
So a scientist and a magician? A magiciantist. So it's true then. My invention, a great machine, it was just a grand illusion. Considering what we just heard about Mr. Drebber's character, I'm sorry to say that sounds increasingly likely. Even though no one else believed it, I wanted to. I wanted to believe that machine would function exactly as my hypothesis predicted.
Which is why you were so opposed to it being investigated, I presume.
I knew that if the machine was examined in detail, its construction would give away my hypothesis. Obviously, I didn't want that to happen, but at the same time, I knew that if it was found to be nothing more than a trick, than a work of deception, then everything I'd worked towards, all my research, all my dreams, my whole life would be over. I was terrified of the prospect. So you really had no idea then, did you? About the true nature of the machine that was built, and the true nature of Mr. Drebber. I never questioned anything. I didn't want to question it. It's entirely possible that Mr. Asman and Mr. Drebber were working together to use you as a means of fraudulently acquiring the research grant money. Poor guy. When I announced my invention in the crowds that day, it was the finest moment of my career. I pulled all the levers and turned all the dials in exactly the way Drebber had described. When the smoke suddenly started billowing out, I panicked. I didn't know what was happening. But I really don't know how the whole illusion was made to work. I don't know anything anymore.
Let me confirm one final point with you, Professor. Do you now consent to the prosecution submitting the necessary paperwork to release your invention from the protection afforded by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act?
Yes, please, go ahead. I'm very sorry. Poor little bunny man. Those dreams crushed right in front of him.
It would appear that we shall have to suspend proceedings for the remainder of the day now. Lord Van Zeeks? My lord? The court has newly been made aware of another party whose involvement in this matter is critical. Yes, Mr. Drebber. Gather information about this man, if possible. I should like him served with the subpoena.
Oh, my legs.
Oh, fuck. With pleasure, my lord. Now, counsel for the defense.
Yes, my lord?
It's good to have you back, bud. When we reconvene, I shall be looking for one thing and one thing alone from you. Evidence. The defendant is innocent of the crime for which he presently stands accused.
I understand.
Good. In that case, this court is adjourned until tomorrow morning.
Woo! Is it to be continued? No? I guess there's still more. Sorry, Hairbrain. Mr. Naruto. Yes? I'm so sorry. I was wrong. You were right. I tricked you. You trusted me. I dragged you into my mess. How did it ever come to this? I'm so sorry! Did you really have no idea, Professor? About what Mr. Dripper was really up to, I mean? About what he was really constructing? Naturally! That machine was the embodiment of my hypothesis, of all my hopes and dreams! I had complete faith in it! Alright, in that case, I won't say any more. Now, sadly, the murder accusation against you still stands. So I must do as much investigating... So we must do as much investigation as we can before the trial resumes tomorrow. You did it twice. Well, thank you for doing so much work for me. Susato! Have you been, girl? I'm so sorry for arriving late this morning, Mr. Naruhodo. Arriving late? Didn't you receive my postcard? I wanted to let you know when I'd arrive. Postcard? What postcard? Ah, that's what you were doing! I hid it from you, Bruno, so it would be a surprise. Well, did it work? I was surprised, alright, especially when she threw me to the ground. Oh, dear, I'm so sorry. I was just so happy to see you again that it sort of slipped out. Maybe we could stick to more traditional displays of devotion in the future? Sissy's train was late into London Victoria this morning, you see. But we made the coachman really whip the horses hard so she didn't miss the whole trial. Don't say it like that. I was watching from the gallery for a while, but in the end, I'm afraid I couldn't contain myself. And they let you? Well, I'm glad you didn't. Oh! Having you at my side in court gives me the strength I need to win. So, I'm, delighted to see you. Back in London. Oh, you're too kind, Mr. Naruhodo. I'm delighted to be here. I hope I can continue to be of service to you. Of course. So, what's brought you back? Did Professor Mikotoba not protest? Let's save all the conversations for when we are back at home, shall we? You know, I've made one of my most special blends ever for this special occasion. Also, I have a girlfriend now. Oh, Iris, how wonderful! I can't wait! Yay! Susato's back! Susato-san was back in London. It's hard to describe how happy that made me feel at the time. But despite my elation, our tale was about to take yet another extraordinary turn. To be continued? Yeah, there we go. I think this spot would be this would be a good spot to stop because I'm getting a little sleepy. Oh my god. Yay, Susato's back! We found out about a new character that's a magician scientist. I nearly died over the little bohemian boy. It's like, oh my god, so many things. So many things happened. I gotta stretch. But before we go, let me see if there's anyone available to raid, because I haven't raided anyone in a while. Let's see. Well, someone is doing art, if anyone's interested in that. I really enjoy their art. You know, let's give them a quick little raid. Let's give them a quick little raid. I think they're just doing a normal art stream. It'll be relaxing. Ugh. But thank you everyone for stopping by and indulging in me literally losing my shit over little German boy. Wednesday is gonna be art stream. I have like 2 ideas in mind to draw, like either maybe some VTuber fan arts or all the AI generated Tohos I keep seeing on Twitter because they look really fun to draw. And on Friday, I might continue Bug Fables, but I also want to do multiple games. So maybe Bug Fables, maybe some Pokemon, maybe World of Horror if we still have time. Oh, don't go to the weed cave. I already went there and I died. But yeah, that's the plan for this week. But thank you everyone for hanging out with me and indulging in me. And let me set up the raid now, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye. Goodbye. Bye.